Hey guys. Okay, so I want to explain to you guys the spiritual secret of why God gives real chosen ones, empaths, earth angels, power over their enemies and to decide their fate. But before I go into that, I have to talk about something else, which is gonna lead me to that. And I'm trying to hurry up because I'm ready to go somewhere. Okay, so one thing about fake people, and for genuine people, we kind of try to sit and think, why do fake people act the way that they do? Do they know they're being fake? Do they know that they're sitting up there putting on? We know that they're acting fake, but do they know? We'll just say, do they know the seriousness of how evil and silly that is, or whatever? And I just want to say this: I kind of like, we know. Let's just say we know fake people are putting on and they're evil, but I like to talk about the psychology and the spiritual explanation of why religious people act fake or whatever. Now, the way I am, whatever, as an empath, I'm open, I'm honest. Most people who know me, or you can just see me online, you can just tell, you can feel and tell that I'm being honest. Most of the time, by the stuff that I share, I don't like to play the victim. If I'm wrong, I admit I'm wrong, whatever it is, what it is. But the spiritual aspect of why people get up in the forefront and say they love God and know they're really evil in the background is because they don't have a connection with God at all. They're only doing it to get up there and fool the masses. Now, what you have to kind of think about is, if we all pull here and there, let's just say that I get channel messages, I'll see somebody online doing their thing, they say something, and I'm like, wow, that's true. I'll reference that person. People don't have to reference me, it's fine, whatever. That's just how I am. Every time, if I could try to remember, I'll say it, but most of the time I'll say, a reader said this, or I said this person on this platform says this, or either I'll share it, or either I'll just say it's a direct channel message from me, or I'll analyze what I see. But the reason why people will look at you and study you and only copy what you say is because, and they don't apply it to their own lives or really believe it. It's because they probably look around and see the respect that you get, and they want to totally demolish you and push you out the way and make it seem like they're the one. That's why I said in certain things that you're not supposed to be in competition with. You're not supposed to work against certain people in certain fields. When it comes to God and when it comes to the Most High and channel messages and stuff, real channel messages or whatever from the Most High, and explain the evil and deception of others, you can't put yourself in the forefront and talk about the evil and deception of others if you're sitting up there doing bad stuff in the background. Okay, now let me get into the spiritual secret. The reason why God gives power to the true chosen ones, but he gives us power over our enemies, is because he knows our heart. When you have enemies, and like I said before, some things I just be hearing, it's just ridiculous. But when you have certain enemies or whatever, and they're acting godly, and they're working against you in the background, or not all readers, certain people, your exes, whoever, and they putting on like they have a connection with God, but they working towards you in the background, they're only doing it to sound smart in front of other people, but God knows the truth. So when you portraying like you work for God and you sitting up there working against somebody in the back, God is not with you. God knows that true chosen ones will see our enemies and we don't see them or whatever. If people say something to offend me, and sometimes they have to do it repeatedly and they'll have to build up, and then finally I get mad. I don't just sometimes if I'm having a bad day or something like that, in the past I'll go off. But most of the time when I get really, really enraged and stuff like that, people have to do something continuously on a level that I really feel totally disrespected. So if I'm sitting up here talking about God and stuff like that, even though I have my little angry, comeback moments, it's no way that I would ever check somebody, or I don't like them or they offend me, and I go in the background and I do a death spill on them, or I do a money spill on them, or I go look up some porn spam links or something like that and put in their comment section every video and keep their views low when I know God has called me to do something. But I get on my platform and I say the Most High is going to call judgment on you. Just like I said before, think about what spirit or who would be leading me to do something like that. I'm portraying, I'm talking about karmics, I'm talking about the Most High. Just in general, you're a pastor, whatever. And you getting in the forefront and you sitting up there, you know the truth. But you sitting up there and you acting like you just holier than God, but in the background you working against people. That's why I said it's like people don't really know the seriousness and the danger of that, because most people who do stuff like that, they get away for a long time or whatever. But you forget one thing. I always have to remember: whatever you're doing, and we can say this with tarot readers too. There's a spiritual world of people watching you. Let's say spirits watching you. You have demons watching you at all time. You have angelic beings protecting you, and you have people who have died that are surrounded around you. Some people that have not passed over yet. So that's one of the ways that people can get certain messages and stuff like that. Some people have the gift, from what I've looked up in research, they can meditate, close their eyes, and they can actually see and look into your past and stuff like that. Some people don't get permission, so some people do. But that is what it is. But they do stuff like that, and that's how they're able to call out certain things and stuff like that. But you always have to remember, when you doing certain things and you portraying yourself a certain way, or just in general, when you do things, you have a spirit that's demonic leading you to do certain things, and you have an angelic spirit, or you have an angelic spirit leading you to do certain things. So that's why I tell people this world is nothing but spiritual or whatever. And we have judgment we can call judgment over our enemies. Whatever. It's a guy on this channel, and he got on this platform, and he was like, what did I hear him say? He was saying, in the next world or something like that, I have judgment over you guys, and we can call judgment on you guys. And I was like, wow, and I just thought about that, and I was like, you know what, that is true. But whenever people say something, I can put emphasis on it, or even if it's not a direct channel message, and I hear stuff, and I was like, that's right. And I really just start thinking about stuff like that. We do, because our heart is pure. So God knows that we think like Him, and we are really truly His people. People can't offend us if we actually go and get them back and try to totally demolish them. You had to sit up there and plot. When you sit up there and plot on somebody's demise, that's very evil. That's why most people who go to court or given more time for a premeditated murder than just somebody, that's why you can get off for insanity, because it's like, in some cases, because it's kind of like you just went crazy, lost your mind, and you reacted. But when you sit down and apply, you sit up there and try to, and they still gonna do it or whatever. Like I said, they don't stop. And it won't last forever, because eventually I'm gonna find a way to take it off or whatever. Eventually I'll find a way. I just haven't really just sat down and really just search all over the internet and found a way. It's like, it's not really important, because the way I am, I kind of know from stuff that I've seen, how I live my life, that when you do certain things and when you work against certain people and just work against people in general, I already know the karma that's coming or whatever, even if it's years, even if it's a long time, because God is a just God. So yeah, that's what I just want to say. When you're a true divine person, your heart is pure. God knows your intentions. God knows who you are, even if you aren't perfect or whatever. So He gives us power to call judgment on people. One thing I realize is that we, and me too, we have to build our relationship up with God. We have to go to God and pray more. We have to go to God and be more sincere. I'm not down talking no tarot readers or whatever or nothing, but tarot readers, I like going to some of them or whatever, because like some of the stuff I was putting on my page or whatever, I'll go and I'll just go. I won't go to see if it's true or not, but I'll just go to certain readers, and they'll be like, people want you to think that nobody's listening and what you're saying isn't true, but it's true. You're correct. They want to try to take away your intuition, so you won't see certain things. They want you to doubt yourself. They're doing stuff over the counter, make it seem like this, make it seem like that. They want you to feel stupid or whatever. But like I said before, tarot readers, they've given me a lot of clarity and stuff like that. I was led that way, and they've given me a lot of clarity. But we can look at tarot readers, but we also have to strengthen our relationship with God and go to Him and pray and stuff like that. So yes, tarot readers have the gift of being able to see the unseen. God, I'm talking about real spiritual tarot readers, and there are a lot, but He gives them messages, channel messages, and they're able to see and lead you and give you correct guidance. But we also make sure we have to go to the source or whatever. So I just want to say that the spiritual secret is you have power to call judgment on them. When you go to God and you sincerely pray and you like, God, I'm tired of my enemies coming against me. I feel alone, or I need help, or can you bring me out of this? Can you show me the way? God sees your heart and He knows your intentions, and He also sees them. So they may think that they're winning for now, but it's just temporary. Like I said, Satan will give his followers and evil people an illusion that they're winning, make them think that they're on their high horse and stuff like that. But internally, you're not happy. Internally, fake people can never be happy, because internally there's no God. The only way you can get up there and put on the front and act fake and do evil stuff is because God is not with you. And when you don't have no God, you don't have no love, you don't have no hope. It's like you have nothing or whatever, because God is everything. He's the one that can build you up. He's the one that makes you feel secure. He's the one that makes you feel solid. I'm okay with standing alone. Most people who are okay with standing alone or whatever are people who can go against the norm. And I'm not saying if you have friends and stuff like that, there's something wrong with you or whatever. But most people who don't follow people and stuff like that, they go against the norm. As a high yoga, and most empaths in general, but as a high yoga, we act in a total opposite way from other people. We think in the opposite way. So of course it's going to stand out, because it's like I'm not really following the norm. And I'm not talking about like little petty stuff like makeup and stuff like that. I'm talking about in general, the way I think, the way that we think Chosen was think, the way real Chosen was at, real godly people. We're not of this world. We're just in it. So we're going to do things that are different. We're going to act differently. We're going to treat people differently. The hardest thing for me or whatever throughout my whole life as an empath, as a chosen one, whatever, has been that people do things that they know on the flip side that they don't want to be done to them. So when people do stuff like that, I look at them as if they're like demonic or whatever. Every time somebody does, and that's kind of why it's hard for certain people to be around me or for me to engage with certain people. Because the minute somebody does something or whatever that's like in a relation to me or whatever, I'll flip it around, especially if it's offensive. I'll flip it around and be like, well, how would you feel if blah, blah, blah was done to you or whatever? And then it's like, for me to, sometimes I get irritated with people and I can judge people a certain kind of way and I want to be around them or whatever, or look at them a certain type of way. Because to me, certain things should be explained or whatever. Nobody's perfect. Sometimes we can say things to offend people or whatever, but it's certain things I feel like you shouldn't have to explain to people. I shouldn't have to get on my platform as a spiritual teacher or whatever and get on here and tell people you're not supposed to do magic spells to stop somebody's business. You're not supposed to go on somebody's. It's just in general. It's like, why would you tell something? You shouldn't have to tell nobody nothing like that, because you know good and well that if you offend somebody, you don't want somebody doing it to you. If you have a platform or a business, do you want somebody coming on your account and putting points in every section and taking away all the views and stuff like that? No. So when people know, just in general, when people know that and they do it anyway, I just look at them as devils. They're gonna do it anyway. They're gonna put. That's why I said, God sit back and he see everything. You don't like what somebody say, you don't like what somebody to do, don't watch it or whatever. Like, that's why I get kind of irritated or whatever, and not in competition, never, because I don't believe in being envious and competing with people. But you see people like Kevin Samuels and you're like, how the heck did this person have 1 million views and nobody's gang stalking his house, nobody is trying to do a death magic spell on him, nobody is people criticize, but it's like that's somebody you need to report to the government. That's somebody people should rally up against. That's somebody should be enraged about, because it's like he just sitting on his platform and tearing out women. It's like his whole platform is about bullying and degrading black women or whatever. And a lot of times narcissists, which I think he is, they like to flip the narrative. A woman on his platform, a woman has to be a perfect size. If you're too big, you can't get a high value man. If you have too many kids, you don't need a high value man. You can't get one. If you don't look like this, if you just in general, if you what does it say, if you're not successful or whatever. But when you look at him, let me say something. I don't know what he mean by high value men. I don't know if they mean good men or men with money. And if he's talking about a man with money, then that gives him a reason to kind of be silly or whatever, because it's like women are trying to call in, I want a man with money. So it kind of gives him like a legit reason to do it. But if he's just talking about a good man for high value, which is my definition of a high value man, a person that's just a good spiritual man, that's a man and follows God's laws and rules and stuff like that, and he's faithful and he's honest and he's loyal and he's dependable, you can depend on him. But when you do stuff like that or whatever, and you sit up there like you just all that, you're older in age, you're divorced, you have a child, and maybe some women like smaller men or whatever, nothing wrong with it, but you're not a perfect size of what most women would like. So when you get up there and do that, it's like, I don't even see how people could even play along with it and not see the satanic agenda in it. It's like men of all around the world would be outraged if I got on my platform, which I try to watch what I say or whatever, I try to watch what I say about black men, and I try to be equal. And if I talk about black men a certain type of way, some of the ones that I've experienced with and seen that I feel kind of have a ignorant vibe. I'll talk about black women or whatever, and talk about how they can be manipulative and go this out of respect. I don't even like being around women like that. But it's like overall, it's kind of like they put the wrong people in the forefront, and they try to make it seem like they're just so popular. And this, they try to make fake the new trend, and real and people that talk about God ain't popular. But people who can kind of know the truth and they are real people and they stand the truth and stuff like that, they can see past the veil and they'll see past the game. So that's why I try to be making and know, look who they put in the forefront. Look at who they celebrate in this world. Gold diggers, run me my money, big booty, this and that, and just in general, guys, cars, clothes, strippers, all this other stuff. And people totally just forget about God. And I've been in that life. And I know that that life is just, it's not really no happiness in there. And it's only temporary fulfillment. With God is everlasting fulfillment or whatever, everlasting happiness. When you live in righteous, it's a certain, when you live in righteous and you live in right, it's a certain confidence that you have because you know God is with you, leading you and guiding you. You know you're chosen. Even when you celibate, it's a certain confidence. If you're in a relationship and you're a woman, and whether you're not married or whatever, and you're faithful or whatever to your partner, and you know you're doing the right thing, it's a certain confidence that you have because you know you live in righteous. If you were in sin and God brought you out of it and giving you messages, and you're leading and being an example to others, when you know you live in right, when you know you're doing right, it's a certain confidence that comes, spiritual confidence that you just know that God is pleased with you. And that's the only opinion that matters. If you live for the world and you are trying to impress the world, you're going to die in this world or whatever, and you're going to go to hell. Satan is your God. When you live righteous and you treat others with respect and you do things out of the purity of your heart, then you know God is leading you and you are not of this world, you're just in it. So I just wanted to do this message. I try to slow down a little bit when I talk because sometimes when I'm walking to work, I talk real fast, and I'm trying to like slow down or whatever. That's just a habit that I have, but I just wanted to get on here and share this message. So I hope that helps somebody. Have a good day, guys.